Welcome to the Hopcast. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, and I'm on board Milwaukee streetcar, the Hop. It's all about connections, it's all about community, and it's all about moving Milwaukee forward. All right, thank you for tuning in. I'm Jeff Sherman. This is the Hopcast on board the beautiful Milwaukee streetcar in downtown Milwaukee. Today I'm on the Hop with Tarik Moody, Program Director at 88.9 Radio Milwaukee and Program Director at the very new, brand new Urban Alternative hyphen WYMS 88.9 FM HD2. You know, HD, that little section on your radio. Tune it to number 2. It just launched yesterday on Juneteenth Day. Tarik and his team launched a new station that we're going to talk a little bit more about later in the interview. The Architect, as he's known, because, well, you're an architect by trade, right?
Yeah.
He's been at Radio Milwaukee for 15 plus years. Truly a natural community builder, an innovator in Milwaukee, a sake professional, a Howard graduate, and so much more. And of course, he's an advocate for building a more inclusive, better Milwaukee each and every day. So it's really great to have you on board the Hopcast, and we're going to hop right to it.
Cool.
Just a little bit in terms of how we like to structure these. We do the onboarding just to get to know you a little bit. We talk about moving Milwaukee forward. We're going to talk about community building and some specific issues around Milwaukee. Then we do a segment called Quick Hop Takes.
Okay.
10 more questions to get to know you, and then we'll do a final destination question. So I guess I'd like to start out, just give us your story. Tell us who you are, how you got to Milwaukee, and give us the 4 or 5 minute Tarik Moody story.
4 or 5 minutes. Let's see if I can do this in 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah, my name is Tarik Moody. I've been in Milwaukee 15 and a half years.
Okay.
I moved here in 2007. I was recruited by Radio Milwaukee. I was living in Minneapolis, full-time job practicing architecture, commercial architecture, but I did radio on the side. So I used to volunteer at a station called KFEI, which is similar to, if you're familiar with WMSE, very similar kind of station. And then the current Minnesota Public Radio launched their station, which is very similar to their 88.9, and they asked me to apply for a show. Got the show, which is called Rhythm Live Radio, which is still on to this day, and it's syndicated in 8 cities. And so I got hit up by people starting Radio Milwaukee, and they wanted to just talk. And I was like, okay, can we fly you out to Milwaukee? I'm like, you're buying, right? Yeah. So I get to Milwaukee, we talk, they liked the show, they found I had interest in tech and all this stuff, and flew back, thought nothing of it. And a week later they called and said, hey, we want to offer you a position based off your conversation. And I go like, Milwaukee? I'm about to get ready to take my license towards becoming a licensed architect, and I have a girlfriend, I have all these great gigs, I have a radio show, like Minneapolis on the up, and they just launched their light rail when I was still there. I live right in the light rail, so a lot of things are happening in Minneapolis, and I was just like, and I didn't know much about Milwaukee at the time. I thought Milwaukee was surrounded by cows, right? I didn't know there was a lake there. I didn't know anything. And then I talked to my dad, and it says, like, if you don't do this, you might regret it. So here I am, 15 years later.
Very good. All right. Well, we are happy you made the move for sure. What so give us a Radio Milwaukee story, if you will. Like, obviously you're recruited here to start the station, but it's pretty cool to start something from the ground up and really have, connective tissue at each and every point. So talk about, the mission and vision of the station, from the beginning and how it's evolved.
Talk about hyphen, you mean?
Radio Milwaukee. Let's talk about Radio Milwaukee.
So Radio Milwaukee, the goal was to create something for Milwaukee. Peter Buffett wanted to create something special, to use music to connect people.
Peter Buffett, who's Warren Buffett's son.
Yeah.
And was married to a Milwaukeean, so he has some roots in the community.
And so they wanted to create something special for the city. Of course, it was formerly the jazz station, MPS jazz station, and MPS didn't want to maintain it anymore. And so Peter Buffett enlisted people to create this new model for a radio station that not only tells music, but also tells positive stories in the community about organization and people doing good in the community. Because you know, you hear a lot of news, there's a lot of negative stuff on the news, right? It's like, it's rare you hear positive stuff. So we wanted to change the dynamics of that, using music as kind of the carrot and then tell stories about people. So we had to create this little, one of our former storytellers call them pop stories, like pop songs, so like 2-3 minute pieces, like entertaining to the music. And so that's kind of initial thing. So it's rare to have a music station with kind of an editorial team to tell stories. So that's kind of the, you know, that's what convinced me. It was not like, if it was just a radio station, like, we're going to do a radio station, that's it. I'd probably be still in Minneapolis or somewhere else. But they had a vision and mission that convinced me, like, this is something really worth doing.
Yeah, using music as the vehicle, but the storytelling around to you know, really create a more vibrant city.
Yeah.
And that's interesting and special and really innovative when you look back 15 years. There weren't a lot of stations doing that in the Midwest, right?
Not a lot of stations in music not doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like anywhere.
Right.
Like
So
it was,
music and DJs.
we became a leader, a model that a lot of the industry follows because of how we did everything. So it's not just the Midwest. It's no one did what we were doing. Especially to focus on local music as well. You know, like actually having local music right next to national 24/7.
Right. And now there's a specific local music station affiliated with Radio Milwaukee, right? An HD station?
Yeah, HD in the stream. So 414.fm.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, very good. Talk a little bit about some of the, some of the other lanes that have come out of Radio Milwaukee, the 88.9 Labs, specifically around technology.
Yeah, so 88.9 Labs was created because I'm a techie by trade.
Okay.
And I always realized how much tech helped me throughout my life. Like even in architecture, I was beta testing stuff, like learning 3D products and all this stuff. I was a beta tester on Twitter and like all my opportunities because of tech. I learned a computer program at age 10. This is like 1983, right?
Okay.
I like built computers and like I saw the possibilities of it. I ran the lab at the School of Architecture computer lab. I learned rendering and 3D modeling before it was prevalent. I built a website in 1996.
Okay.
You know, and I saw the opportunities it gave me, and I wanted to do the same for people that look like me. So 88.9 Labs was born to try to show what other people who look like us, like me, do in tech. So we had tech talks, we had hackathons, and different events around tech and entertainment and media, and show what's out there in the technology world, not just coding.
Right.
So that's what 88.9 Labs became.
Right. Nice, great. And all with a bigger vision to recruit and retain more diverse talent to a market that needs it.
Yeah.
Right.
So like right now, I mean, 89 Lives is kind of morphed in other things because of my role now at Hyphen. But right now we're with Dana Guthrie, who runs Gateway Capital here, and Ed Javier to WDC, and Q Elamine of Blueprint, Yes Society, and Maggie Fernandez of We Pivot. We're putting on a venture capital event during Summerfest Tech to basically get Founders Color to get connected to VCs. So on June 28th, we have an event bringing VCs from around the country and founders to connect and help them get like hopefully some capital and just get connected and network. So
great. Yeah, that's what it's. 88.9 has always touched my Milwaukee heart just because of the extensions and the tentacles in the community like that, and it's important. A little, another extension of your life is sake.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to have you talk a little bit about that. You have a journey and kind of a vision to start a sake brewery in Milwaukee at some point. But what's the passion there, and explain sake, what sake is.
Sure. Well, let me explain the passion. So during the pandemic, everybody self-reflected, right? You're sitting at home like, what does it all mean? Why am I working this corporate job? Why am I doing this? So a lot of people start like self-reflecting, figure out like, what's life mean? What do I want out of life? And I did the same thing. It's kind of like there was a point where I almost decided to go back to Atlanta, during the time period. But Hyphen came around and I started to stay and recommit to Milwaukee. But I needed something that separated me from my job and everything was my life. I need to get away. I need some separation. And I was thinking about all the stuff I love to do that's not related to computers, tech, or music, or anything like that. And came back to my love of sake. I love sake. I was first student at Howard University, and I always loved it, and always joked. I would love to have a sake brewery. Like, this is years ago, and I kept thinking, like, I want to make something in my hands I want to do something different and unique and something special. And I settled on revisiting my love of sake. I used to DJ for sake in Minneapolis at a sushi bar.
Okay.
So
Nice.
during the pandemic, I hit up. There's a Sake Brewers Association North America, which I am now a member. Yay.
Okay.
At the time, I hit them up like, "Hey, this is me. I want to do this. What's my steps?" Because honestly, there's no one in Milwaukee to tell me what to do, right, or how to do it. So they told me, "Well, your first step is why don't you take this course from a guy named John Gottner, who's in Japan and has this course, and it's usually in Japan or big cities, but because of the pandemic, it was virtual. So I put it on a credit card with money I didn't have for the course." It was basically a 4-week course every weekend, 6 hours every weekend. Took the test, got certified, and I started doing tasting at No Studio for a while.
Okay.
I organized some dinners. I'm still planning on some dinners with some chefs here, hopefully in the coming months. And I've been trying to be an ambassador for sake. Like, a lot of people drink wine. Well, let's go back to you asked about what is sake, right?
Yeah. Like, can you? Do you have an accreditation as a sake professional, or is there a home brew? Just talk through that process.
So basically, most people think it's kind of a misnomer, rice wine, right?
Okay.
Not really a wine.
Right.
It's a brew. It's more related. The process more related to beer.
Okay.
No bubbles, but it's more related to beer.
Yeah. Okay.
Slight different things in there, but basically, the product is made from rice, fermented beverage like beer. Okay. There's 4 main ingredients: rice, water, koji, and yeast.
Okay.
Right? Koji is kind of like the malt barley kind of thing that goes in beer, right? Koji is the one that kind of takes the rice and allows it to become sugar that yeast can eat to translate to alcohol.
Okay.
Right? And there's all types of sake. Like most people experience the sake is at the sushi bar, the hot sake, which a lot of times it's overheated. I learned a lot of times there's subtleties in when you heat sake. It's in different flavors.
Okay.
It's the beauty of sake. It's brewed like beer, but it's treated like a wine.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
How it's served. So that's basically a kind of a simple 101 of what sake is.
Okay.
But one of my goals, besides having a sake brewery, is I want to be kind of this ambassador to show that you can have sake outside of a Japanese cuisine. So during those studios tastings, we collaborated with different places. We did barbecue, we did soul foods, we paired different foods that are not normally drank with sake. People pair wine with everything. But most people, the one thing most people don't realize, sake goes so much better with cheese than wine. Goes amazing with oysters. But it just never had the marketing powerhouse of wine in the States. Wine, they paired. You drink wine for breakfast. You drink wine everywhere. So I'm trying to give people a choice, an alternative, and say, hey, there's some really great products out there. There's it's more diverse than wine. It's more of a craft. It takes real skill compared to other beverages, right?
Okay.
I know I might get some angry beer people out there, but I think it takes some really skill to make sake. There's some amazing sake. One of my favorite sakes is sake that's made from a red yeast. I don't know how they do it. It tastes like strawberries, but there's no strawberries in it. Not a drop of strawberries. It's just they really, and most people don't realize the fastest export country of sake is America. It's growing really fast. Yeah.
Well, so you're on the ground floor to an extent in a city that embraces brewing and tradition around.
It's a brew. I wanted to tell people it's a brew. That's when you say sake breweries.
Yeah.
And I also learned one of the sake brands that get distributed here, one of their top markets now, is Milwaukee. Over Wisconsin. It's Wisconsin over Illinois.
Okay.
So
very good. All right.
Just wanted to let you know that.
Something to keep our eye on and toast to is the sake, the growing sake tradition in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and they had American Craft Sake Festival in Durham.
Oh, nice.
There's about 20 sake breweries now across the country. New Orleans, Texas, North Carolina, Nashville has a sake brewery. Closest one in the Midwest is Minneapolis.
Okay.
Moto E.
Very good.
They're kind of a sake pub, I guess. They got the taps and they have food and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So.
Very nice. All right. Thanks. I appreciate that education, and I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper. Let's talk a little bit about. Get back to Radio Milwaukee. I mean, the stamp from sponsorships, from music, all the community stories. The Radio Milwaukee stamp is all over the community. What's your vision? And we'll talk about the new station next. But what's your vision for Radio Milwaukee moving forward? What's next to accomplish for the station?
Well, other than the new station, which I have a vision for.
Yeah.
We're celebrating our 15-year anniversary this year, so we have something special planned.
Very nice.
My personal vision, which is not related to like what I like to see.
Right.
I want us to have a premier festival in the Midwest that attracts people from far and wide to come here. Like all these cities are building amazing festivals, diverse festivals that people fly to. Like I go to Afropunk in New York, or I go to a festival here, and I book a hotel, I buy a restaurant, I go this, and they get a lot of these festivals get a lot of press and coverage because they're booking artists that people want to see and hear, and it's diverse lineups. And I want a festival Radio Milwaukee to hang its hat on. Our counterpart stations have festivals like XPN has a great festival in Philadelphia, right? KXP has a great festival, and like I want to have a presence that really becomes a national presence.
Okay.
That people like, oh, what's going on in Milwaukee? I know that station right in Milwaukee. Like KCRW is a local station in Santa Monica, California, but it has a national, international presence. And I want the same thing for Radio Milwaukee.
Okay. Very good. Talk about, as we kind of continue to further connect the neighborhoods with downtown and the city's desire to continue to retain and recruit more diverse talent. Obviously, that's right into starting a new radio station and continue to build the ecosystem. And talk about Hyphen's role in kind of recruitment and retention of talent to Milwaukee.
So I want to say Hyphen is not a radio station. To me, it's a movement, right? I almost left to go to Atlanta, right? Because I can go to Atlanta, fit right in, feel welcome, feel belong.
Right.
For people that look like me, black and brown people,
Right.
it's hard in this city, right? Culturally speaking, for people that are our age.
Right.
The city does a great job of really doing cultural events for, honestly, white millennials, right? They don't really do a lot for black and brown people, professionals. So that's where I feel like where I want to come in. Like I'm staying here because I feel like Milwaukee does have a lot of amazing, diverse talent, and a lot of them are leaving because they're frustrated. Like I hear the frustration and the anger, and no one's paying attention to it, right? Culture is very important. People in the corporation said, we got jobs. So does Atlanta. So does Nashville. So does New York. That's not enough to keep people of color to place. They need to feel like they have ownership of the city. They got to feel like it's for them as well. If you don't do that, they will leave. Then you can say, I don't know how to keep diverse talent. If you don't invest in culture and arts, our sister state, Minnesota, does a very good job in investing in arts. They're one of the few cities, Minneapolis, to gain populations in the census in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Because they understand culture plays a role. The corporations invest in culture. I want to use Hyphen as a catalyst for that. Like I'm willing to talk to corporations outside of the city to like say what we're doing here. I'm trying to create a brand, just like the Bucks created a national global brand. I want to create a brand because people will say, what's going on there? Why is this happening in Milwaukee? I need to check this out. Like people don't go to Atlanta, Austin because, oh, I got a job. They're going there for the culture. They're going for they do a very good job in really celebrating that culture.
Yeah.
We need to do a better job celebrating culture, not just we got corporation with jobs.
So you see Hyphen as a kind of a conduit between corporations, community,
creatives,
government, creatives, and
we
really
have to embrace our
platform.
creatives. We other cities truly embrace their creatives. Our city needs to truly embrace our creatives a lot better than what we do now, to be honest with you.
All right. Give me a flavor. I know we're only one day into the new station, and I listened a little bit yesterday, but give me a flavor of kind of what we're going to hear day to day.
So basically Hyphen is we have a tagline called Connecting Culture.
Okay.
We want to celebrate black creativity, black innovation in all aspects, and it starts with music. We want to be more than just hip hop and R&B. We want to show that, yes, most people don't realize black artists, black people had a creation in folk and dance and indie, especially rock and jazz. We want to show that the breadth of the beauty through the music. So it's from the get-go, it's going to sound different than any other kind of station in that kind of format, not just here, but hopefully anywhere in this country. Also, we also know that black women play a huge role around the country, especially here.
Yeah.
They are leaders, they are entrepreneurs. The fastest growing group of entrepreneurs is black women. And we want to celebrate them and show that they are valued. And like Our narrow target is 26 to 39 black women. And our gender mix reflects kind of this of a 60-40% women to men music balance of having women and women identifying voices on the air in our music and artists.
Well, good. You talked a little bit about Minneapolis and kind of how Milwaukee can take some inspiration from Minneapolis. Are there other cities in the country that you feel like Milwaukee can really learn from?
I mean, even like the people call Pittsburgh our sister city, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Very Milwaukee-esque.
They're the home of the first black beer fest.
Yeah.
And I honestly got mad because the first black-owned brewery is Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And they have a black beer fest.
Yeah.
Right? That's Pittsburgh. When you see about culture, look, they got a lot of news. They were in a documentary. They were in Black Lens Film Festival. These cities truly, Pittsburgh, small, large, cross-country, truly values the value of a creative. Do you want to attract and train talent?
Yeah.
And you have to build that culture of want people feel belonging. And I can go list cities from LA to Atlanta to Minneapolis to Raleigh, Durham.
Yeah.
Right? We have amazing people, we have amazing talent. We need to celebrate them, embrace them, and invest in them.
Yeah.
We invest a lot in legacy arts, which is great. But why are we not investing in the new arts, in new young people, right? Organizations like True School doing great stuff.
Yeah.
They should be celebrated, right? So there needs to be a thought shift, cultural shift in our leadership from foundations to corporations to see if we want to change and keep people here, we need to like have these people at the table.
Very good.
You know?
Yeah. Great. Well, I'm going to move on and give you 10 quick questions here. And we try to do this in 2 minutes, but answer them as you want. But a little quick hops here, get to know you a little bit deeper. So, what book are you reading right now, Tarik? Or you got time for books?
Yeah. I actually got a book. There's a new book on sake. It's called on craft sake in Japan.
Okay.
So I started reading that before all the craziness. So that's a book I'm on right now.
All right.
Another book I have been going through here and there is called Black Futures. Kind of really beautiful book of just a lot of contributors from black creatives in this book. I was trying to get back into comic books.
Okay.
Again.
Nice.
I do have a lot of audiobooks. So I was listening to Nabil Ayers. He's the son of Roy Ayers.
Okay.
He just released a book called Living in the Sunshine. I can't remember the title.
Okay.
He was actually here at with Justin Barney at the bookstore. Boswell
Yeah.
for a talk.
Very good.
Really talking about his life growing up. So I've been really into Audible
Okay.
because it's so easy. I put it on and go.
Right. Just put in the AirPods and
so
go.
I got credits and stuff. So those are some of the books I'm reading right now.
All right. As an ambassador for Milwaukee, what's your insider tip for someone coming to Milwaukee for the first time?
This is Ogden Jackson westbound. Please watch
Insider
your
tip.
stop while boarding or
I don't know.
exiting the car. Please allow
A food tip, I guess, as I started food, like real chili is like most people look at me like I'm crazy. I love real chili.
Okay.
I said if I left, that's the one place food-wise I would miss,
Yeah.
and I think it's underrated. I would tell them to go to Real Chili.
All right.
I would tell them to go to like the neighborhoods that don't get love as much in the media,
Yeah.
right? Support the South Side. There's some of the best Mexican and like Puerto Rican food in the Midwest. I want people to celebrate that side. There's so much beauty in that side of town, as much as as the north side as well. I want people to get outside of the typical areas people go to. That's kind of that's the best thing about any city is not where everybody goes. It's where the natives go, right?
Right. Very. Do you do the spaghetti Marquette special at Real Chili or no? You didn't.
I learned the secret. I don't know if I can tell the secret, but the spicy is there's no they're all the same spice level. You know that, right?
Well,
it's just you get extra meat. So you get extra. You want extra meat.
Feels like it's a little juicier, so your head thinks it's a little
they're
hot.
like the same level. So that's the secret of the Real Chili. I hope I didn't like ruin it for them. But you want extra meat, get extra spicy.
Very good. Yes. Favorite place to take a walk or a bike ride in Milwaukee?
I've been stuck indoors for so long. I don't know. I like River West.
Yeah.
I've been to River West since I moved here. I love the neighborhood. I walk around the the path back there.
This is Jackson and Juneau
I just like walking River West
Please watch
in my
your step
neighborhood.
while
Very
boarding
good.
or exiting the street
You have a
car.
free Friday night.
Allow seniors and persons
What do you want to
with
do?
disabilities to use designated seating.
I don't go out on Fridays like I
Yeah.
used to. Like there's too many people out there. I get crowded. Like I'm old. Like oh, these people are crazy. I mean, I go to Foundation a lot.
Okay.
Not like I used to, but pandemic. But I like going during the week when it's less. I like dive bars.
Yeah.
If I find a quiet dive bar
Right.
anywhere,
Yeah.
just have a beer and just chill.
All right.
I mean, you get older, you don't really want to be all. Friday nights is kind of my chill night. Any place I can
Right.
be chill. I like Nessa Dorma.
Okay. Yeah.
I go to Nessa Dorma maybe at 9 o'clock when all the rush is gone and go have a little
Still get
pour, a
dinner
little whiskey.
and-
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
I just like quiet.
Yeah.
I like chill.
Nice. Best concert you've ever been to?
In Milwaukee or anywhere.
Anywhere.
Miles Davis, my second concert in Atlanta.
Ooh, nice. What year?
1991. It was
Okay.
JVC Jazz Festival. I went with my dad.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast?
It can be one at your station if you want, or it can be anything.
I like Southern Foodways Alliance. Again, I'm a foodie. Have a food
Okay.
podcast. The Southern Foodways Alliance have a podcast called Gravy. It's really good.
Okay.
I also like How I Built This. by
Yeah,
Roz.
that's good. Yeah.
And David Chang's podcast sometimes is kind of cool. I
Nice.
enjoy it. Like certain topics, but I subscribe to podcasts, but only listen to them if I see a topic I like.
Okay.
Right? If there's a topic like I don't want to listen. I don't, but that's how I pick my podcast.
All right. Very good. Favorite city?
Well,
You probably got a lot of them, but
I would say Milwaukee is my passion.
Okay.
Atlanta is my soul, my gut,
Yeah.
right? And DC is kind of my headspace,
Got it.
creativity. So
I like that. That's a great
yeah,
answer.
and Minneapolis is kind of like it's there. It's a little in my head.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like your children. You can't pick them up.
That's right. Most famous person you've ever met or come in contact with, or even
Prince. I bumped into Prince.
okay, gets to talk to him. Was it?
It was a head nod. It was a
head
very nod. Yeah,
right?
he got a
Just
head
one of
nod
those?
me.
All right.
I did meet Michelle Obama.
Okay.
I met a lot of people. I interviewed RZA, Wu-Tang Clan. That was great.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. I always want to meet Bjork. Bjork's my
Okay.
favorite artist.
Okay. All right.
All-time favorite artist.
Okay.
So I sold a game. I used to work in D.C., like Howard University in D.C. So during Clinton's inauguration, I was working
Okay.
at Babbage's, a software store. So all the people were coming through the inauguration. So I sold a Game Boy game to Carly Simon.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. There's probably other people I can't remember, but Prince comes to mind.
Okay.
It
Right.
just, it was just a weird, because it's an Angie Stone show at his old club called Glam Slam. It became called Quest nightclub at the time.
Okay.
And I was upstairs, so it's like a mezzanine overlooking the concert stairs. And upstairs, I can't remember why I was even upstairs. I'm walking out of the bathroom. There's lights every 10 feet, and you see these shadowy figures, one in the middle really, really short,
Yeah.
two really big bodyguards, and you see the light hit them, and like, your head's like, nah, that can't be. And then you're like, it is. And you're like, you want to say something, and you see the bodyguards, you're like, I'm not going to say anything.
There you go.
And so I just said it, and all he did was like, and that was it.
All right.
So,
Very good. And the last one. First, I love how this quick hop section evolves, and you've taken it deeper, and I really appreciate that. So I'm going to go off script a little bit, and I always like to ask. You have the Milwaukee magic wand, and you're able to be granted one wish. What is that
for Milwaukee?
for Milwaukee?
I want the young people, especially young black and brown people, to feel like they have an opportunity here. I want them to feel respected and valued in this city like anybody else, and given a chance like everybody else. And let them be who they ever want to be, and really help them grow. And to me, if you invest in the young people, Milwaukee will be the global city we always wanted to be.
Okay. Awesome. Great. And then finally, as we kind of round the corner and get to our final destination here, I always like to ask our Hopcast guests to define success.
Our next stop is Wisconsin Avenue Southbound.
Happiness.
Streetcars do not stop at all
Good.
stops.
You know, that's
Please press the stop request prior to the
that's
stop
what it is. It's
sign.
passion and happiness.
All right.
If you don't have that, that's not success to me.
Very good. Very good. I like that. That's a fitting way to end. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's good. Thank you. Thanks for having
All
me.
right. Yeah, no, thank you for taking the time. I know
Sure.
you're a busy guy and got a lot on your plate, so really appreciate you taking the time to ride the 2.1 miles around downtown here. And that's it. Tarik Moody, 88.9 New Hyphen radio station and platform here in Greater Milwaukee. The Hopcast available on YouTube. Check us out on all of our social channels and get downtown and ride the hop. Thanks for joining us.